Attention! If you're in Australia right now on a tourist visa, bridging visa, or any temporary visa, and you're thinking about switching to a student visa or another visa type, stop right there. The Australian government just dropped a bombshell that's going to destroy thousands of people's plans. Visa hopping is now officially dead, finished, over. As of right now, you cannot jump from one visa to another the way you used to. People who are planning to extend their stay by switching visas are in absolute panic mode. If you don't understand what just changed, you could waste thousands of dollars on an application that will be automatically rejected. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to explain exactly what visa hopping was, why Australia banned it, who's affected, and most importantly, what you can do if you're already trapped in this situation. Welcome back to the channel. My name is... And today we're talking about Australia's crackdown on visa hopping that just came into effect in 2025. I've spent the last several days reading the new policy documents, talking to migration agents who are dealing with panicked clients, and speaking to people whose applications have already been refused under these new rules. What I'm about to tell you is shocking, it's devastating for many people, and it's already causing chaos. In this video, I'm breaking down everything you need to know. What visa hopping is, which visa combinations are now banned, real examples of people affected, and your options if you're stuck. So grab a notebook because this could literally save your Australian dream or help you avoid a costly mistake. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is visa hopping and why did people do it? Visa hopping is when you enter Australia on one type of visa, and then while you're here, you apply for a different visa to extend your stay. For years, this was a completely legal strategy that thousands of people used. Common examples. You come to Australia on a tourist visa for 3 months. You love it here. You find a college. You enroll, and you switch to a student visa while you're still in the country. Or you finish your degree on a student visa. You get the temporary graduate visa for 2 years, but when that's ending and you haven't secured permanent residency yet, you enroll in another course and switch back to a student visa to buy more time. Or you come on a working holiday visa, you meet someone, you fall in love, you apply for a partner visa onshore. These were all perfectly normal pathways that helped people transition from temporary to longer-term or permanent status. But the Australian government has now said, no more, we're shutting this down. The new rules specifically ban several visa combinations. Here are the big ones that affect the most people. Number 1, if you're in Australia on a visitor visa, also called a tourist visa or subclass 600, you can no longer apply onshore for a student visa. It will be automatically refused. Number 2, if you're on a temporary graduate visa, subclass 485 or 486, you cannot apply for another student visa while you're in Australia. Number 3, if you're on certain bridging visas, your options to switch to other visa types are now severely limited. The government is basically saying the visa you entered on defines your purpose for being here, and you cannot just change that purpose whenever you feel like it. Wait, let me explain why this is so devastating for so many people. Thousands of international students have been using this strategy for years. They come to Australia, they study a diploma or bachelor degree, they get the graduate visa, they work for a couple years hoping to get permanent residency through skilled migration or employer sponsorship, but if that doesn't work out and their graduate visa is expiring, they've been able to enroll in a master's degree or another course and switch back to a student visa. This gave them more time in Australia to find a pathway to permanent residency. Now that safety net is gone. If your graduate visa is ending and you haven't secured permanent residency or employer sponsorship, you have to leave Australia. There's no backup option anymore. Similarly, people on tourist visas who fell in love with Australia and decided to study here could previously switch onshore. They'd visit for a holiday, realize they want to stay longer, find a course, enroll, pay the fees, and apply for a student visa without leaving the country. Now they can't. If you're on a tourist visa and you want to study, you have to leave Australia, go back to your home country, and apply for the student visa from there. That means extra costs, time away from Australia, and uncertainty about whether the visa will be approved. Stop for a second. Let me show you real examples of people this is affecting right now. Example 1. Priya from India. She came to Australia in September 2024 on a tourist visa to visit her sister. While here, she attended some campus tours, fell in love with Sydney, and decided to enroll in a hospitality management course starting in February 2025. She paid her tuition fees, got her confirmation of enrollment, and submitted her student visa application in November while still in Australia. 2 weeks ago, her application was refused. Reason: she applied from a visitor visa, which is no longer permitted under the new rules. She lost the visa application fee of $2,000. She's now scrambling to leave Australia before her tourist visa expires, and she has to reapply for the student visa from India with no guarantee it will be approved. Total financial loss, over $5,000, including the wasted tuition fees and application costs. Example 2. Michael from Brazil. He completed a bachelor degree in engineering, got his temporary graduate visa in 2022, worked for 2 years building up his points for skilled migration. His graduate visa expires in March 2025. He applied for skilled migration, but his points score isn't high enough, and he hasn't received an invitation. His backup plan was to enroll in a master's degree and switch to a student visa to buy another 2 years. He enrolled in November, paid $15,000 in tuition for the first semester, submitted his student visa application in December. Last week, refused. He cannot switch from a graduate visa to a student visa anymore. Now he has to leave Australia in March. He's lost $15,000 in tuition, and his permanent residency dreams are crushed. Example 3. Sarah from the UK. She came on a working holiday visa, met an Australian guy, they fell in love, moved in together. Her working holiday visa is expiring in January 2025. They're not ready to get married yet. They've only been together 8 months, but they were planning to apply for a de facto partner visa onshore. Now they're worried that might be considered visa hopping too. They're in legal limbo trying to figure out if their application will be accepted or refused. Do you see how brutal this is? People made plans, invested money, built lives based on rules that existed for years, and suddenly, without warning, the government changed everything. Now let me explain why the government did this, because understanding the reasoning helps you understand what they're trying to prevent. The official explanation is that visa hopping was being abused. People were using tourist visas as backdoor entry to Australia with the intention of switching to student or work visas all along. They'd claim they were just visiting, but really they were coming with pre-planned intentions to stay. Similarly, students were using education as a way to stay in Australia indefinitely, not because they genuinely wanted to study, but because they wanted to work and eventually get permanent residency. Some people were enrolling in cheap, low-quality courses just to maintain visa status, not because they cared about the education. The government says this undermines the integrity of the visa system and takes advantage of loopholes. There's also a political angle. Australia is dealing with a housing crisis, rising rents, and public backlash against high immigration levels. The government is under pressure to reduce numbers. By shutting down visa hopping, they're making it harder for people to extend their stays, which means fewer people in Australia overall. It's a way to control migration without officially reducing visa allocations. Politically, it looks like they're cracking down on rule breakers and protecting the system. But here's the problem. The new rules don't distinguish between genuine cases and people trying to game the system. Priya genuinely fell in love with Australia while visiting and made a legitimate decision to study here. Michael worked hard, contributed to the Australian economy, and wanted to continue studying to improve his skills. These aren't scammers or people abusing the system. They're genuine migrants following what used to be legal pathways. But now they're being punished because the government wants to stop a minority of people who were exploiting loopholes. It's a blunt instrument that's hurting everyone. Listen carefully, because now I'm going to tell you what visa pathways are still allowed and which ones are completely blocked. Still allowed. You can switch from a student visa to a temporary graduate visa. That pathway is still open because it's part of the post-study work rights that students are promised when they enroll. You can switch from a tourist visa to a partner visa, but only if you meet strict relationship requirements and can prove the relationship is genuine and developed while you were in Australia. You can switch from a working holiday visa to an employer-sponsored visa if you find an employer willing to sponsor you. You can apply for permanent residency from almost any temporary visa if you meet the criteria. Now blocked: tourist visa to student visa, graduate visa to student visa, certain bridging visas to student visas, and the government has indicated they may expand the restrictions further in the future. They're watching closely, and if they see people finding new loopholes, they'll close those too. So what are your options if you're affected by these changes? Option 1. If you're currently in Australia on a tourist visa and you want to study, you must leave Australia and apply for the student visa from your home country. Yes, this is expensive and inconvenient, but it's the only legal pathway now. Book your flight, go home, submit your application from offshore, and wait for the decision. If approved, you can return to Australia to start your course. Option 2. If you're on a graduate visa and it's expiring, focus all your energy on securing permanent residency or employer sponsorship before your visa runs out. That's your only pathway to stay. Talk to migration agents about your points score, apply for state sponsorship if eligible, network aggressively to find employers willing to sponsor you. This is your last chance. Option 3. If you've already submitted an application that falls under the banned categories and it hasn't been decided yet, contact a registered migration agent immediately. There may be grounds to argue special circumstances or request ministerial intervention, but you need professional help. Don't try to handle this yourself. Option 4. If your application has already been refused, check if you have grounds for appeal or review. You have limited time to respond, usually 28 days. Again, get professional legal advice immediately. A migration lawyer might be able to find grounds to challenge the refusal. Option 5. If none of the above work, start preparing to leave Australia. I know that's heartbreaking, but overstaying your visa has serious consequences. You'll be banned from returning to Australia for 3 years, sometimes longer. You'll have a black mark on your immigration record that affects future applications to any country. It's not worth it. Leave on time, maintain your clean record, and you can potentially return to Australia in the future through a different pathway. But wait, there's something else you need to know that could affect your application. Even if you're applying for a visa combination that's technically still allowed, you need to be extremely careful about demonstrating genuine intentions. For example, if you're switching from a tourist visa to a partner visa, you need overwhelming evidence that the relationship is real. Photos together over time, joint financial commitments, statements from friends and family, statutory declarations. The government is now hyper-suspicious of anyone trying to switch visa types on shore. They're scrutinizing these applications much more carefully than before. If there's any doubt about your intentions, they'll refuse you. Similarly, if you're applying for permanent residency from a temporary visa, make sure every single detail of your application is perfect. No mistakes, no missing documents, no inconsistencies. One small error could be interpreted as an attempt to manipulate the system and result in refusal. Let me also address something that people keep asking. What about applying for a different visa offshore while your current visa is still valid? This is still allowed, but you need to be strategic. If you're in Australia on a graduate visa that expires in a few months, you could potentially leave Australia, return to your home country, and apply for a student visa from there. That's not considered visa hopping because you're applying from offshore, not onshore. However, the immigration officers will still look at your history. They'll see you just finished a degree and had a graduate visa. They'll question why you're suddenly applying for another student visa. You'll need a very good explanation. Maybe you want to study a different field. Maybe you want to upgrade from a bachelor to a master's. Whatever the reason, it needs to be genuine and well documented. Now let's talk about the financial impact, because this is destroying people's savings. When you apply for a visa in Australia, the application fees are non-refundable. Student visa, $2,000. Partner visa, $8,000 plus. Skilled visa, $4,000 to $5,000. If your application is refused because of the new visa hopping rules, you lose all that money. Plus, if you've already paid tuition fees for a course, many institutions won't give you a full refund, especially if you cancel close to the start date. You might lose thousands in tuition as well. Then there's the cost of flights, accommodation, time off work, all the money you invested in building a life in Australia. People are losing tens of thousands of dollars because the government changed the rules without adequate warning or transition period. This is why I'm so passionate about spreading this information. If I can stop even one person from wasting $5,000 or $10,000 on a visa application that will be automatically refused, this video is worth it. Here's what you absolutely must do right now if you're in Australia on a temporary visa. Step 1. Check exactly what visa you're currently on. Log into your IMI account, look at your visa grant notice, confirm the subclass number and the expiry date. Write it down. Step 2. Research whether your current visa allows you to apply for the visa you want on shore. Don't assume, don't guess. Check the official Department of Home Affairs website or call them directly. Step 3. If you're uncertain, or if you're in one of the banned combinations, book a consultation with a registered migration agent immediately. Yes, it costs money, but it's way cheaper than a refused application. Step 4. If you need to leave Australia to apply offshore, book your flights now. Don't wait until the last minute. Step 5. If you're close to your visa expiry and you don't have a clear pathway to extend, start preparing to leave. Pack up, say your goodbyes, do it properly. Let me give you one final piece of critical advice. Do not overstay your visa hoping the rules will change. Some people are thinking, maybe if I stay a bit longer, maybe they'll reverse this policy. Maybe there will be exceptions. No, that's not going to happen. The government is committed to this crackdown. If you overstay, you will be caught eventually. You'll be detained, possibly put in immigration detention, deported, and banned from returning. It will destroy any future chance you have of coming to Australia. Don't risk it. Leave on time, even if it hurts. Let me summarize the key points so you remember everything. Point 1. Australia has banned visa hopping, particularly from tourist visas to student visas and from graduate visas back to student visas. Point 2. Applications for banned visa combinations are being automatically refused, even if submitted before people knew about the rule change. Point 3. If you're affected, you need to either leave Australia and apply offshore or find an alternative pathway like permanent residency or employer sponsorship. Point 4. The government is doing this to crack down on perceived abuse and to reduce overall migration numbers. Point 5. Even allowed visa combinations are being scrutinized more carefully, so your application needs to be perfect. Point 6. There's no transition period or grandfathering. The rules apply immediately to everyone. So what should you do right this second after watching this video? Action 1. Check your current visa status and expiry date right now. Action 2. Identify what visa you want or need next. Action 3. Verify whether that pathway is still allowed under the new rules. Action 4. If you're in a banned combination, contact a migration agent today. Action 5. If you need to leave Australia, start making arrangements immediately. Don't procrastinate. Action 6. Tell everyone you know who's in Australia on a temporary visa about these changes. They might not know yet. If this video helped you understand the visa hopping crackdown and potentially saved you from a costly mistake, please hit the like button right now. It helps more people find this critical information. Subscribe to the channel because I'm constantly posting updates about Australian immigration changes. Turn on notifications so you're alerted immediately when new rules drop. And share this video with everyone you know who's in Australia or planning to come here. Your friends, family, classmates, co-workers, everyone needs to know. Leave a comment and tell me, are you affected by the visa hopping ban? What visa are you on and what were you planning to do? I read every comment and I respond to as many as possible. Plus, other viewers often share helpful advice and experiences that could help you. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I know this is devastating news for many of you. You had plans, you had dreams, you invested time and money, and now the government has pulled the rug out from under you. It's not fair, but it's the reality. The only thing you can control now is how you respond. Get informed, get professional advice, make smart decisions, and don't let panic drive you to make mistakes. Australia is still an amazing country, and there are still pathways for genuine migrants. It's just harder now, and you need to be more strategic. Stay strong, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video with more updates. Good luck with whatever pathway you're pursuing, and take care.